In today's episode, I tell you a case of a Florida man who murdered another man in a love triangle that existed only in his head. Welcome, lambs. Welcome to Love and Murder, Heartbreak to Homicide, the Florida Man Friday edition. If you are new here, hi, my name is Kai, and I invite you to get comfortable, sit down, listen to this episode, and if you like it, go ahead and hit subscribe so you don't miss another episode. For all my returning lambs, welcome and thank you for supporting Love and Murder. Before we begin, I want to say that this episode and all my episodes are sponsored by my lambs and Patreon, patreon.com/Love and Murder. If you want to be a sponsor of Love and Murder, get bonus episode, case extras, and all that stuff, then head on over to our Patreon to become an exclusive lamb. We actually just had a bonus episode come out about this, oh my God, it's a depraved case of Gary Heidnik. You got to become an exclusive lamb and listen to that episode. This guy is who the main character in Silence of the Lambs was modeled after. Oh, it was such a horrible case. Patreon.com/Love and Murder. But without further ado, let's get into this Florida Man Friday. At 5 p.m. on Thursday, October 6, 2017, a 911 call came in. A man had been beaten to death on the 7,000 block of Northwest 15th Street in Plantation, Florida. When police arrived, they needed to find out what was going on. 46-year-old Eric Robinson had been roommates and once lived with both 39-year-old Nicholis Wilcox and Isabella Tagliarini. After being released from jail on cocaine charges just 3 days before this incident, Eric went home to find that Isabella had started a relationship with Nicholis. He got mad when he found them in bed together. At around 2:30 a.m., Eric reportedly entered the bedroom, placed his hand over Isabella's mouth to keep her quiet, and then led her out of the room. All while this is going on, she's hearing Nicholis gasping for air. After he got Isabella out of the room, he went back into the room and started beating Nicholis with a metal rod. After he murdered Nicholis, he then wrapped his body in a gray tarp, secured it with belts, and forced Isabella to help him dispose of the evidence. Together, they dumped Nicholis's body into a dumpster behind a shopping center located near Cleary Boulevard and Nob Hill Road in Plantation. Gary didn't stop there. He then drove Isabella to a Big Lot store where they bought cleaning supplies including peroxide, duct tape, and paint rollers. When they got back to the apartment, Eric made Isabella help him clean the bedroom and even repaint the blood-splattered wall. After all that was done, and I guess for good measure to make sure that she wasn't going to tell anybody, Eric also choked Isabella until she blacked out. She said when she woke up, Eric was punching her all over her body. So while she was passed out, you were just using her as a punching bag? I said, wake up. What the frick is wrong with you, dude? After she woke up to being punched by a grown-ass man, he then threatened to kill her and went to leave the house. But when he couldn't find her keys, he threw... How you gonna blame her for your incompetence? You're a grown-ass man, you can't find the keys, so you get mad at her? He threw her on the ground, threw her against a wall, and then started slapping her over her entire body. What is with you in inflicting pain over her entire body, whether she's conscious or not? You couldn't find your keys, you dumb moron. You're the one who lost your keys. You know, I hate grown people that can't take accountability for their own damn actions. Later, after Eric left, Isabella contacted the frickin' police, as well you should. That is frickin' right. Police came, looked her over, and documented severe bruising over her face, arms, neck, hands, and shoulder. After they finished documenting all of this and getting her statement, Isabella then took investigators over to the dumpster and showed them where Nicholis's body was. At the crime scene, officers found Nicholis's blood on a pillow, a blood smear by the pool, and the furniture moved into the middle of the room. So you thought you cleaned it, you thought you were clever, but you weren't that clever. Later that day, detective arrested Eric, charging him with first-degree murder, domestic violence, a probation violation because remember, he just got out of prison 3 days ago. He's on probation, and this is what he does on probation. And aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. They had him held without bond. Because, I mean, literally, you just got out of prison. And this is what you do 3 days after being freed. You're not going anywhere, sir. Shockingly, though, when I read this, I was like, huh? Isabella was charged as an accessory after the fact, and then she pled guilty to tampering with evidence. I don't understand how she was even charged. Like, clearly she was under duress. How the frick did you charge her? Her option was get beat with a metal pipe or continuously get beat and slapped all over her body or help him do what he was going to do. Why was she charged? You go with some crazy person who's beating somebody to death with a metal pipe and then strangled you until you pass out, only for you to wake up with them punching you all over the body. Then they lost their key and took it out on you once again. And tell me if they say, come help me with this, you'll be like, no, I'm okay. I'm going to stand my ground on this one. Really? That literally shocked the crap out of me. I honestly, to this point, I don't understand that at all. So anyways, although they unfairly charged her, she cooperated with the prosecutors to help convict Eric during his trial. Being that she was a witness, which again, why would you frickin' charge her? She was able to tell the court and the jury exactly what happened on that night. Eric's trial began on Monday, April 10th, 2023, which, once again, this is another case of why the frick did it take this long for a trial to start? April 10th, 2023. When did this happen? October 6th, 2017. Why? And anyway, he pled... I'm going to let y'all guess, as I sometimes do. What do you think he pled to this charge that has a witness, that has all this evidence at his house? What do you think he pled, Lambs? If you said not guilty, you would be right. Prosecutors charged him with murder with a depraved mind, which is a second-degree felony. Now, my question is, why was his charge downgraded? Okay, so you downgrade his charge, you charged a woman who was under duress. What's going on in this case? And then Isabella's charge was a third-degree felony. But I'm still saying, why was she even charged? Prosecutors started in the trial and said that Eric's motivations was that Isabella was in a relationship with Nicholis and he had seen a love letter on the wall of the house. So actually on the wall of the house, in reports that I read, they had a love letter and they had like this relationship contract, and that was on the wall of the house. So I guess they can continuously pass it and see what they agreed upon. So when Eric came unannounced and uninvited to this house, he saw this stuff on the wall and he completely lost it. Assistant State Attorney Peter Sapak said, quote, around 2 a.m, she was awoken by Eric Robinson being inside her bedroom, one hand on her mouth, telling her to be quiet, and the sounds of Nicholis Wilcox gasping for breath. The court heard that Nicholis had suffered head injuries due to being hit in the face and throat, and Broward County Deputy Medical Examiner Dr. Stephen Robinson, no relations, I'm sure he would have taken the stand because the guy's name is Eric Robinson. He would have been like, yes, my name is Dr. Stephen Robinson. No relations. Testified that Nicholis suffered 6 blunt force injuries and 7 stabbing injuries. What the frick did he stab him with? Did he stab him with the frickin' metal rod? Because nobody said anything about stabbing. So he hit him 6 times and stabbed him 7 times. During the trial, it was also revealed that previously Eric had been arrested in August of 2016 at the same house after, get this, you're not even gonna believe what I'm gonna say. You're not even gonna believe what I'm gonna say. He put on brass knuckles and punched Isabella throughout her entire body. Again, what is with you and the entire body? And brass knuckles? And again, why is this woman being charged? And then they went through the fact that Eric actually had a history of arrests. On June 2nd, 2017, he was arrested for domestic violence, battery by strangulation. On August 9th, 2016, he was arrested for opium possession and aggravated battery. He was arrested for cocaine possession on July 19th, 2001, March 10th, 2011, April 8th, 2017, and August 23rd, 2017. Again, why is this woman being charged? Defense attorneys started their argument with blaming everything on Isabella. Attorney Rachel Newman said, quote, "I submit to you that Isabella Tagliarini is the one who murdered her boyfriend that night, Your Honor." The defense rests. And then, in my head, the prosecution is looking at her like, how did you even get to that conclusion? Like, literally all the evidence is here that he did it. How did you? Okay. In my head, that's what the prosecution did. That's what I would do. So instead of it playing out as it did in my head, the prosecution said, "Exhibit A, Your Honor," and started showing crime scene photos and evidence to the jury. Exhibit A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M. Sorry. So they also showed the tarp, which was used to wrap Nicholis's body. And they also showed the truck, which was Eric's truck that was used to transport the body. So what you're telling me, defense, is this woman did this all by herself. She beat this dude with a metal pipe, took his lifeless body, wrapped it in a tarp. Then she took his dead weight, lifeless body, put it in Eric's truck, which for some reason Eric's truck was there on site, put it in Eric's truck and took it to a dumpster, dragged the lifeless body out of the truck, and then put it in a dumpster. She did that all by herself. Not the guy with the history of 251,000 arrests, but her. Then Sergeant Christopher King told the jury that he remembered that there was, quote, "an overwhelming smell of household cleaning products in the townhouse's master bedroom." Quote, "All of the furniture was in the middle of the room. There was no mattress in the room, and the wall on the south side of the room was freshly painted." So you're telling me that she did all of this, got rid of the body by herself, freshly painted everything, and then called the police and blamed it on somebody else while all the evidence was there. Both police officers who arrived on the scene both testified that Isabella had been visibly upset when they went and met her. Quote, "She appeared to be shaken up. She was crying. She said, 'Can I ask you a question?' And before I could respond, she said, 'Do you think I will ever forget the sound of someone trying to breathe?' Yeah, sounds like somebody who's guilty to me and who should be charged. 'I submit to you that Isabella is the one who murdered her boyfriend that night.' Yeah, sounds like the correct person. Isabella then testified that she participated in the crime scene cleanup and the disposal of the body because she was afraid that Eric was going to kill her too. Well, duh. But not according to the defense. On the day of April 17th, Eric's former fiancée took the stand, Meredith Kenzek, and she testified as to why he no longer lived in the townhouse with Isabella, saying in part that, quote, "There was a restraining order. Then there was a resounding sound of face palms because Broward County Circuit Judge Bernard Bober had previously instructed the court that this information was not supposed to be given to the jury. The one thing he said don't say is that he had a previous restraining order. The one thing he said don't say was that he had a previous restraining order. And the one thing that she said was that he had a previous restraining order. Ugh. Due to this, of course, the defense jumped up. Your Honor! Objection! Mistrial! Yes! I won this one. And actually, the judge was forced to declare a mistrial. Quote, "I am really not happy about it, but it's what I have to do." But a couple days later, so this happened on April 17th, on April 24th, 2023, with the same rules in place, a new trial began. And Eric's defense was like, damn it! During this trial, they used everything else they used in the previous trial. And Isabella was able to continue her testimony, saying that as Eric was beating Nicholas, she could hear him saying, quote, "Die, MFer, die, MFer." And she said she also heard what sounded like a metal bar hitting a human body. And then when Eric came out of the room, he said, quote, "What do you think? He would survive?" Then on June 16th, 2023, after all of this, after all the times he's been in and out of prison, after a retrial because this woman said the one thing they told her not to say, Eric was found guilty of second-degree murder. Why second degree? Judge Bober sentenced him to life in prison, well, I guess, without the possibility of parole. Isabella, for some freaking reason that I still can't fathom, is awaiting sentencing. She faces up to 5 years in prison, but her case to this day remains in pending status, according to court records. Now, all of these people, Nicholis is dead, and Eric is in prison, and I mentioned this because Nicholis was actually the father of 3. He had 3 children, and he wasn't doing anything. He was minding his damn business. And he was taken away from his 3 children by somebody who thought this was still his girlfriend or something. I don't know. It's all in your head. This whole relationship was all in your head. You thought she was going to wait on you. You keep on going in and out of prison. You thought she was going to wait on you. So anyway, you took this guy away from his children, and it was said that he worked in construction and specialized in roofing. Eric was also the father of 3. That he probably never saw because he was always in and out of prison. For the families involved, the sentencing brought a sense of closure, but the emotional toll obviously remained. And as for Isabella, to those who knew her, friends and family, her involvement in the crime was a shock to them, which the only shock there is that she was charged. What are y'all talking about? Is there something I missed? I mean, lambs, look up this case and maybe there's something I missed, but from what all I saw, she did this, but she was freaking under duress. So what is everybody talking about? None of y'all would have done anything different. And you know me, sing like a bird, Kai. I wouldn't have. It was totally under duress. People are acting like she did this because I wanted to get rid. Like, what are you talking about? This crazy dude broke into her house, literally punched her up all night, slapped her up all night, killed her boyfriend, and then said, "You better come help me." Like, I don't know. This is the part that drove me crazy about this case, because I don't know. Anyway, that is the case of Eric Robinson for your Florida Man Friday. What did you think about this episode? And I'm actually going to put out a poll question asking you, do you think that Isabella should have been charged or not? Because I can't be the only one who doesn't understand this. So go ahead and answer that poll question, and or you can answer it in the comments below. Let me know what you thought about this. And if you want case extras, like for instance, in this case, I'm going to be posting videos from the trial and also the video of the verdict coming in. So if you were an exclusive lamb, you would actually be able to see this trial going on. You can actually become an exclusive lamb by simply visiting our Patreon, patreon.com/love and murder, and choosing whichever tier you want, whether you want bonuses, whether you just want case extras. Whichever tier you choose helps Love and Murder and also helps yourself, because you do get extras and you do get a community of exclusive lambs. Patreon.com/Love and Murder. Another thing you can do if you just want to help Love and Murder out one time, you can also just buy me an apple juice. Well, some people say buy me a coffee, but I don't like coffee, as you've heard me say a million times. So buy me an apple juice. The link is in the show notes below. And a free and easy way to help out Love and Murder is by simply sharing this episode. That's literally all you have to do. So whatever platform you're on, go ahead and hit the share icon and share it, as we say, to everyone you know and everyone you don't. So go ahead and share it in your text messages or your WhatsApp with your friends and family, and then head on over to your social media. You could just go to our Instagram, our YouTube, our TikTok, and just take a clip and share it with your social media friends. Everyone you know and everyone you don't. And that is all I have for you today in this Florida Man Friday, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye.